I'm muted. Paul, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Perfect. See, I'm trying to see if we have everyone back yet. I think we do. Guys, thank you all for joining us for our Q&A panel. We have a few questions that have come in from for those of you who are new, that we do have a few local college students from the Georgia Film Academy that come over and watch it at Cap's house. So they're all there and they have a few questions for you guys. The first one, scroll up here. Where'd it go? Okay. How do you, this is really for anyone working in film, so all of you. How do you scout locations for your scenes?
Okay. I mean, I guess I'll start. I call up my good friend Summer Ferguson and I say, "Hi, can we shoot at your house?" Because there was we didn't have insurance on this film, so we were very careful about where we filmed. We shot at, you contact who you know and who you trust and who trusts you. So Summer was involved from like day one. Paul was involved from day one. We shot in Paul's apartment. Paul has a very good friend who's a producer on the film named Dan Sullivan. Dan trusted us enough to let him shoot at his printing facility, and that facility could be turned into a lot of different locations with set dressing. So his facility got turned into the high school or the Catholic school. It's basically contact who you know, who trusts you, and see what locations become available, and then take it from there. And try not to destroy anybody's house. And actually, Brink, you directed, right?
Yes, yeah, I can answer that
right?
too. Last year, last year I co-wrote a script called Tears of a Clown, and they already had certain locations available in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Like they had the right to use the pier and a hotel that was next to the pier. So they flew me there to pick the locations so that I could incorporate that as I was writing the script.
Oh,
yeah.
Hi. Are we live?
We are.
Yeah.
Oops.
The question we were talking
Good to have you back.
We were talking about locations, like and how you get locations. Everybody here has been their own filmmaker, so it's a great question to ask everybody. How do you get your locations, Avi?
Hold on. Yes, everyone should switch to WebEx. Please, yeah. Thank you. Hey, hi. Anyway, Dave asked a question. Locations, like when I've done my own filming. Well, yeah. First and foremost, I guess the idea is where can you film for free? I guess that's the biggest question generally when you have a no budget or a low budget film. So I always look for where can we steal a shot, meaning if it's public land and like a park or something where you're technically maybe supposed to register and get a permit and stuff and insurance. That's all great if you're doing a union film, if you're doing a studio film. But if you're doing an indie and you have no money, you kind of just shoot where you can. You kind of just look for firstly, where can we not get in trouble to shoot?
Right.
Get away with it, essentially. And, what looks pretty in that context. So I like public parks a lot. I like doing outdoor shots because they're easy to light during the day. You don't have to worry about lighting, per se. And generally, especially outside of California, New York, you can get away with it because, first of all, any park ranger or police, they don't know to say, hey, wait a minute, you need to have an insurance, you need to have a permit, where's your security? But if you're in California and New York, they look for that for sure.
And Paul right now is coming, I think, Paul, you might be on mute right now, but you are actively shooting a movie called Fortress of Sin in Nebraska, and you're not running into any of the complications that we ran into in California when we would shoot. So isn't that right? Paul Kamicki, star Fortress of Sin. Did you hear the question? Also, no. Okay, well, let me ask. Summer, how about when you made Allegheny Sunset? How did you go about getting your locations?
Very similar. It was, who do we know that has a place? And we begged them to let us shoot there. Also, we were shooting in town and we had rented a house to stay in while we were shooting. And the house was connected to it was like a kind of like townhouse, and we broke into the next door and that was empty and shot there. So yeah, it's very, very guerrilla, it was whatever you can grab. But I do remember when we were shooting the Caesar and Otto, the Deadly Xmas, and a neighbor threatened to call the police or whatever. We went up, we were like, oh, we're film students and we didn't know. And
that's when I called you. You're my secret weapon. That's when we witnessed, because we chose a random spot not far from where you live, right, Topanga Canyon, and then we noticed that neighbor on their phone complaining that we're, I don't know, in their general vicinity. God forbid somebody's dressed as a Santa Claus making a movie with two children. Sorry to destroy your day. And I'm like, Summer, go talk to her. I'm gonna get into a fight. If I talk to her, I'm gonna get into a fight. But you have the temperament to deal with annoying people.
Yeah, she was literally on the phone with the cops. She's like, no, they're here. I don't think they have a permit. And but yeah, we were like, oh, we're just trying to grab a really quick shot. We're film students. And once she heard we were film students, she was a lot.
Which we weren't. We're liars is what we are. That's what
total liars.
but students of life. Just students of life,
Right. But now, Summer, you, hey, ball's on. So you had, I'm assuming, had a very big difference between shooting in Virginia versus shooting in California. Right?
Yeah, we actually we wanted to shoot in the local jail. So we went down to the police station. We were like, hey, what's up? We're shooting a film here. Can we shoot in the jail? And they were like, yeah, do you want to borrow my gun for the shot? And we were like, no, that's okay. But they let us use the courtroom and the jail. I mean, because it was this really small town, and they were like, yeah, cool. One thing we did have to do, we had to let the police know if we're going to be shooting on the street, because we had a scene where someone was drinking from a flask, and someone called the cops on us for drinking in public.
So you can use a gun in the scene, but God forbid you drink from a flask, you get flagged.
Yeah, the cops came and they were like, they smelled it. And we were like, remember we came by, talked to this guy. We talked to him yesterday, and it was all cool. But yeah, they were they're like, do you want to borrow our gun? But no, you can't drink on the street from a flask in public. So
and Fortress of Sin, all real guns.
They shoot that in Nebraska. So, where have your travels taken you in the last year? Because you were saying that I think you went to Texas, you went to some different states, right?
Yeah, I've been in. I shot a couple movies in Texas. I was in North Carolina, San Diego area. Florida. I was in Fort Worth, Florida.
I'm assuming that, from one film to the next, I mean, because I'm on probably the lower end of budgets of your productions. that you like from one set to the next, it could be a crew of like 3 people, 4 people, and then 30 people.
Yeah,
So you see this.
Yeah, this year was especially small crews. One of the films I did in Texas, they rented an Airbnb, which I stayed in along with another actress, and they also filmed at the Airbnb. So that's another location answer that might help people.
Yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, they filmed that in pre-production on. That was the plan, is to get a couple of locations through Airbnb, and you put up cast crew and you shoot there. Like it's an all-in-one. All in one stop, for when you're filming.
And, I literally just have to roll out of bed and I'm on the set. It's wonderful.
Yeah. I remember when we made some of these movies, especially in LA, and Brink can relate to this, is you can lose so much time in transit with like 405. Is that the highway in LA? Is it 405?
Yeah, the 405.
The big one, the worst one.
The biggest parking lot in the city.
And just think, you have a shot. If you have 2 shots that are in different locations and you have to go through 495, you might lose an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in the course of the day. Summer, when we did reshoots on this film, you remember how long you guys you picked up Zadar and company from the airport. You were in traffic for how long? Like the call time was like 1 p.m. You guys got there like at 5, because it was the traffic.
Ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Yeah. And then getting him back, he almost missed his flight. It was crazy. I mean, hours and hours and hours. We got to know each other.
When I did my movie Personal Demons, one of my producers was taking a master class in CGI. So he said, we're going to shoot the entire movie green screen, and we'll CGI in the backgrounds. So we shot it in his backyard. He had built a green screen studio out of his garage. And it turned out to be a much bigger test than he ever anticipated. It took years to finish all the CGI backgrounds. But it was wonderful. It has a very fairy tale kind of collage look to it because of the way we did it, which suits the subject matter.
The advantages of green screen is you can shoot anywhere, but it's certainly not as easy as pressing a button to make this stuff happen, which he discovered. But now, like the shows like The Mandalorian, they are filming against extremely high definition screens. So it's not even CGI. People are now using, they call it the volume. They are shooting against the highest high definition backgrounds, like rear screen or front screen projection. So now it's not even green screen anymore. You're actively interacting with an environment that's projected. And they're doing that more and more now.
And no spoilers, I haven't watched season 2 yet, so don't give it away.
I could make some stuff up, which I was about to, but... You find out Baby Yoda's real name, and it's Bob. Oh, I'm sorry.
Like my uncle.
Spoilers, Dave.
So do we have what's the next?
Real quick to interrupt. I promised Opal the Christmas mascot dog would be back for this part, so
Oh, baby.
Patiently waiting by in her pajamas, her Christmas pajamas, and her deer antlers. So I just want to let her go on screen real quick for the people.
Beautiful.
And then I can get her off out of these antlers. So
Oh, she's so cute.
Guys, I hate to say it, but I think she's taking the crown for biggest star tonight.
Oh, what? She doesn't even have any lines.
but she'll be in this movie, right?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, we worked Rich Calder on, our special effects guys, dog into the movie. We worked your dog into the movie. So what, Teresa, what's the but before I forget, we had a question from Jim from Virginia Summer. He was asking what part of Virginia that was that you shot at.
Yeah, that was in Clifton Forge, which is where I'm originally from. So it helped also that my dad knew like 3/4 of the town. So.
Right.
Very useful.
Yeah, and they're actually shooting a big TV series or mini series or something there right now. I can't remember what it is, but it has somebody big in it. I can't remember who.
Probably Timothy Allen-Flatt. He's on all of those kind of. He's usually playing He's usually playing a sheriff of a small town somewhere. It's always in. So
I have a question for Paul. Paul, how's your health? We heard that you've been sick and you got got a COVID test. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling much better. I have COVID, but I didn't get the results back yet. But I feel fine now. I think it was just like a 24-hour flu or something.
Okay, that still can happen
Man.
in conjunction with what's going on out there. So glad to hear you're feeling
Great
better.
though. Love the little hat. You look so like I don't know, artistic and.
All right, thank you, my dear.
You look like a 1920s paperboy. Read
all about it. Fortress of Sin.
Paul, everyone at watching from Kat's house, they say that they love you and they hope you're feeling okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I love all you guys too.
We're glad that we have you guys.
Yeah.
These are our favorite events. We like them a lot.
Oh. And Brink looks great. I'm glad Brink's here.
Hi, Paul. It's great to see you again.
Good to see you. You look fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. The beard.
My two girlfriends, Allison and Sashi. Is it Sashi, Sashi? I don't even know.
I have to say, I love the title. I have so many playing socks.
I feel like a fourth wheel here.
Hey, what about, so Teresa, we're gonna have to cast you as Otto's love interest in the next movie, just to keep things balanced.
Perfect. I have a question both for Brink and Paul. So Brink, this is actually for me because I was scrolling through your IMDb when I was looking for headshots for your special guest announcement for this event, and I thought it was a glitch. I saw so many things that were like in post-production or just, it looks like you're working on so many things. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And then also same question for Paul. I know you just finished working on something. Didn't know if you wanted to share anything on that as well.
Yeah, I do so many movies, and a lot of them take forever to get done. And a lot of it's because they do crowdfunding and they raise a certain amount of money and then they spend it all shooting. And maybe they don't realize that they need to save some money for post-production, like editing, like music, color correction, and things like that. So it seems like movies are taking longer, the ones I'm doing anyway, to come out than they used to because budgets are so limited now.
And the truth is that the likelihood is they probably just went a little over budget, and by going a little over budget, then there's no money. They might have even had something put aside for post, but then if you overspend or if things go a little over while you're shooting, they got to wait another 6 months to a year until they get more funds to finish it. That even happens.
Helping.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, we're looking forward to seeing everything once it comes out. I'm sure it'll be great.
Thank you. Yes, I am too.
You've done so many movies, Brink, so there could be the Brink Stevens channel.
Yeah,
they're really good.
In the old days, a video where I'd go in a video store and they'd have a whole shelf of movies I was in. It was great.
I work with Wild Eye Releasing. I do a lot of the DVD authoring for the company. And I probably authored about 12 movies that you've been in for Wild Eye Releasing.
In the last few months.
No. In the last few years.
And then Paul, what about you? Do you have anything you want to talk about any upcoming projects?
I was just I've been in the 3 weeks total going back and forth, and we're from World, Western Nebraska. Easy to film, no permits, everybody get involved. The local theater group, hey, can we have a role? It's so different out there. And all the props we use are very authentic, real guns. And, everybody owns a gun, and everybody's, everyone's gung-ho. You want to go hunting? No thanks.
What kind of role are you playing, Paul?
I play a father who's looking for his missing daughter in Panhandle in Nebraska. And there's weird cults going on. There's all sorts of weird stuff that I discover trying to find my daughter.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's cool.
What happened?
And it deals with deals with human trafficking too, which is a real problem in Nebraska. Like a real life
Is
problem.
it?
So it's
With Native American girls have gone missing a lot, and so it touches on that. Paul has had the script that he's been writing for before we even invented Caesar and Otto, and I've been encouraging him to finally make this movie, and I got him over that extra edge, and we rewrote the script together. The lead character went from like a dutiful father who really cared about his daughter, and then I rewrote it for Paul. We made him like a deadbeat dad.
deadbeat yeah.
Drunk. It's like all the characteristics that like make him a really dramatic character, schlubby and so like I just felt like I want to see Paul in a leading role, of something, and especially of a story that he's been working on for so long. So I pushed him over the edge, and now he's actively filming it, and I'm cutting it together, and we're gonna have a lot of familiar faces in it.
And Dave has a role, and Avi has a role, and Summer, how are we getting?
And I was trying to get. I've been saying that I want. There is a place for at least Summer's voice that you can, and we gotta get everybody in here.
Yeah, I want to be in the next Caesar and Otto movie. Even though I died, you have to bring me back.
Oh, I know how we're bringing you back. It was your ghost last time, where the hallucination of your ghost, and now, there's a lot of people have been in Spring Break of the Dead. Caesar and Otto come across a cult that's comprised of all people who have mysteriously died in the past, and they have new identities now, and they're living on the beach. And the head of the cult is a guy named Jerry. But basically, people die and they come back, and they come back as in different identities. So basically, she would look like Sashi, but she would have a totally different personality. So it would probably be like the super sweet character or something like that would be how we do it. And then, as it turns out. There's just people are getting reanimated through aliens. I don't know. I don't want to spoil
it. Well, to insert myself into it, I would say Drew is the pure good. So maybe there's a place for balancing the evil in there. Like,
you come from like a long lineage of the pure. Yeah, good. I like it.
If Avi comes back ripping his arms off again.
Oh, you got that. I love
that.
One of my favorite scenes was when Avi is trying to get into the car. His arms are gone. He's using his foot. And then he's like, I got to hotwire this. That was so funny.
The hot wiring wasn't real. Someone asked, I got to learn how to hotwire the car with my feet. Here's how you hire a film crew and just cut and make it seem like it was real.
Oh, there was a question.
That was a cute scene.
I did open the door all the way 100% with my foot.
Yeah.
Took a couple tries, but we got it.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the questions from one of the film students was if you actually did that with your foot.
Oh,
yeah. Literally, that was one of the questions on the
list. I'm limber. Oh. Sorry, I didn't.
I was ready.
I got it up there on the steering wheel, and all of that was real, but obviously not in one take, and didn't really start the car that way. You knew that already.
That would have been very impressive. This next question is from Justin. It's for Dave. He says, it's always fun to see genre actors and scream queens in your movies like Brink and Linnea. Who would be your dream genre actor / scream queen that you would want to work with?
Well, I mean, it's wonderful to be able to return to the same. If you've seen somebody more than once in my film, the chances are I loved working with them, and so I want to return and see Brink again and all that. But in terms of people I haven't worked with, I would love. This new movie that I was doing, I was looking at people who can play the character of a deacon later in life who's found the faith, and he had like a wild past of drugs and alcohol. And someone like a Robert Englund would be a lot of fun to work with. Tobin Bell is a terrific actor. LeVar Burton is an amazing actor. So people like that have been coming to mind. Danielle Harris is always doing doing films of kind of a mid-level budget. I mean, she's terrific too. So those are just some people that come to mind.
Okay. Our next question is from Chris. Was it difficult acting out scenes with the stubs? With the I don't know why I'm doing this, but with the stubs.
I take it that question is for me. It was a little bit. I mean, it was fun because it got to have a lot of physicality, and I got to sort of explore the physical humor of not having the arms. Like someone even mentioned in the comments, like hitching the ride, like trying to hitchhike. Dave, was that in the script? I think we kind of just made that kind of happen, right? Or no.
No, it was always in the script. The son of a biscuit, I can't hitchhike. The idea is like not having a thumb, you can't hitchhike anymore. So
right. It was fun. Fun being able to do that.
But what wasn't in the script was you running up and down the streets of LA with no arms and having people not react, which is, typical LA.
There were a few people driving by though that looked horrified, and we probably this is an example of why they want people to have insurance and permits and all these things, because we just had random people driving by and they see this horror show. They probably thought it was a car accident and they wanted to help. And the car was almost.
And then, hey, that armless guy's stealing his car.
But luckily it's LA and nobody cares.
Summer was always so much fun on special effects too. Like in the summer camp movie, her hands doubled for Darren's headless body, and she was involved with the effects too. But when Avi was doing the armless stuff, there was a rig, and he had his arms behind him while his arms were built out with the stubs. So he was really running with his arms behind his back.
Oh my God.
If you look really closely and pause at just the right time, you can actually see my fingers sticking out below the shirt in the faraway scene where I'm running across screen. Just barely.
Wow. See, I edited the movie and didn't notice that, so that's you got a real good eye.
Nice eagle eye there. Let's say next question. Sorry that it scrolled up. Let me go back down. Where'd it go?
Brink, I want to ask you what it was like working with Joe Bob Briggs, because I saw at least one time that you were together. Right? Did you do more than his show, or did you?
No, I've met him many, many times at conventions. And I'd read all his books. They're so hysterically funny. And then Alice was on his show, the Trailer Park Show. And that was really funny. He said one of my movies, and I was interviewed. And he's just a really sweet guy. And I'm so glad that he's such a spokesperson for the genre, because he brings this humor to it that's priceless.
Yeah, and he's seen Deadly Xmas, because he was a judge at Elvira's Horror Hunt, where this film placed second, I believe, in that competition the year that it came out. So Joe Bob the judges were Elvira, Joe Bob, and Bill Moseley.
Wow, that's
yeah, Moseley liked it the best of that trio. Moseley was really responsive to it.
I don't see how anyone could not like it. It's just so funny.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's like if someone likes a horror comedy, they won't like this as much. Whereas if you like a comedy horror, because this is a comedy horror, I think that kind of audience member will respond. Like if there's an expectation with this, when you look at Evil Santa, that is going to be a certain kind of film. And sometimes people just don't, if that's not what they're looking for, they're going to take it out on the movie. And I always try to use the low budget in favor of the comedy, but some people just also won't be that receptive to anything low budget or this low budget. So those kind of audience members would turn off. But at the end of the day, they can much bigger budget stuff, and other people, there's an audience for this that will continue to respond and hopefully find it over the years. And that's the beauty. And I thank everybody so much for being part of the screening, because now more people see it. Like the film's been out for a few years. It seems to disappear, but to give it second life, that's how we can continue making more of these.
Mm-hmm. I liked your fast cuts, and you used a lot of visual tricks like the split screen and the the three-way screen and the rear projection kind of stuff, and you kept it moving, and it was always moving so well.
Yeah, because I have such a short attention span. So like my film, and especially it's a short attention span with low budget movies. So the faster you move, the less likely the audience is to realize just how cheap it looks. So that's part of my logic.
That's good.
So I actually have a question from the students for all of you. Of the 3 Caesar and Otto movies, for those who were in all of them, which one was your favorite to shoot? Anyway.
I love this movie. I like my character so much. She's kind of a biker chick and in the black leather and all. In the Paranormal Halloween, I actually played twins. So I got to play 2 roles and be slightly different. So that was fun. That was a challenge. And I thought that was an amazing visual thing where we were able to make me look like two different ghosts at the same time.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun, and I'm sorry I kept you waiting so long. I still feel bad about that. Like we were on the set, I'm like, Frank, I just we're shooting the scene and down the hallway. I need another hour. From we'll be back to you. I promise. That's the worst part. I'm sure in your experience, so most film that's normal for most film sets, right? You always kept waiting.
Oh yes. I just did a movie in Arizona, and my call time was 10 a.m. and they didn't start actually shooting me till about 10 p.m.
Hey.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, I don't feel
12 hours.
I don't feel so bad about the 2 hours I kept you waiting.
Don't feel bad.
As Summer, what's your favorite? What was your favorite one to shoot?
I was in I was in summer camp in this one, and summer camp was really fun, but this one was probably the most fun I almost have ever had in my life. It was so fun, and I knew everybody and I loved everybody already. It was like getting back together with everybody, and just the Christmas stuff was so fun. And this was just so fun. Hands down.
Me too. I would say this is my favorite movie to shoot. It was like a reunion for a lot of us. For those of you that don't know, there's a main trilogy, right? There's Caesar and Otto's Summer Camp Massacre, this one, Deadly Xmas, and the next one, Paranormal Halloween. There's also like a prequel, you could say, that most of us weren't really involved in. That was Caesar and Otto, and that was like a student film kind of deal, or almost like a short anyway, low budget short. But we were all involved in 2 or 3 of these ones. Yeah. Deadly Xmas was so much fun. It was like a reunion for the core group of us. And then for me, I really felt like that scene where I get the arms chopped off. I mean, Roots Calderon was the effects guy. I want to say, I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's really his horn. He
doesn't like it when you toot his horn. You got to be careful.
All right, I set myself up for a bad double entendre there. Point is, that was a lot of fun running around with my arms off. Second of all, I got to work with Darren Miller of CKY. He's the guy that kills me. I mean, who can ask for better than like a heavy metal star to chop off your arms in a movie? You know, right? So that was great.
Avi, even though we had to reshoot the scene because the footage got lost.
That's right. We destroyed the shirt, and in the scene, because that's my own shirt, gets the arms chopped off. Then the footage got lost, and we had to reshoot it. And fortunately, I had another ugly shirt that was very close.
Because I was flying back to California, and 2 days I was flying back to New York, and we had 1 day to reshoot all of the effect shots that we had lost from the previous day, and we had already cut the shirt off. And Avi's like, "I'm going to see what I could do." And he arrives on set. With a shirt that's identical to the one that we destroyed.
Not identical, but close. I think if you look, you can see the difference, but they're very close. And they're both horrible shirts. I don't know what I was thinking twice.
You were going to be in a horror film and they were going to be destroyed.
And I had to call off work. I had to decide, man, do I ask to get off work? And then they say, no, you cannot take off work. And then I'm screwed. Then I'm like, we can't reshoot it, guys. I have to quit my job. So I just called off sick. didn't use the excuse I have no arms, so I can't be there. But
You missed an opportunity there. You have one shot.
And for me, I would say that the most fun I had on any Caesar and Otto set was when we shot the sequence of Paul getting mutilated with the chainsaw by Santa. We had 3 days of shooting, and in those 3 days, we shot Linnea Quigley's part. We shot the flashback with Allison in high school, and we shot Paul getting mutilated. And those 3 days were the most fun I had on any set. Like, everyone was having such a terrific time, and it was like when everything went right. And it's rare. I'm gonna look at that as its own little mini shoot, because the rest of the film wasn't that smooth, but those 3 days were like a charm. And how about you, Paul?
I'm gonna have to say Deadly Xmas too, but there's so many cool parts of the other ones that I had a blast with.
Oh, master.
Like Paranormal Halloween, Beverly Randolph. I had a blast with that girl. Brink, you probably know her, right?
Yes, another
Auditions and stuff.
horror regular at the convention.
Yeah.
I thought that Darren did a fantastic job at acting. Has he acted before this movie?
Just like really in rock videos, pretty much. He was in summer camp, and I think through Felissa he had done little parts here and there, but I think this was the biggest role that he had ever gotten. And it wasn't written for him, as a matter of fact. It was written for like Robert Z'Dar or somebody of that type. And there were some scheduling issues, and I'm like, who can play this role? And like, Darren loves Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's one of his favorite movies. Why don't I just cast him as Evil Santa? And that's when the idea of, I don't have to cast people as the same characters, do I? Because everybody would, Summer came back as a different character, and Darren came back as a different character, and Babs came back as a different character. The dad's wife, So I just started bringing people back as different characters, just changed their hair a little bit, and it was. There's no rules in these movies. it's a rubber band reality. Pretty much that's the beauty of making them. I do what I want. You can't.
That actually leads into another question we have. It says, do you have preconceived actors in mind for certain roles? And then follow up, and really this is for any of you, what is your favorite story regarding someone who auditioned for a role and got in your movie?
Okay. Well, I was my second choice for Caesar. And, I'll give you a couple. So Robert Z'Dar was a long shot to be Evil Santa in Deadly Xmas. I wrote it for him. And then at one point later on, Joe Randazzo got involved in the film, and he had a connection to Robert Z'Dar, and we put him in a different little role. And at the very end credits, which you cut off, thank you, Teresa, the very end credits, Z'Dar is watching the movie, and he's commenting on the credits, saying how he should have been in it, and that kind of fun stuff. So even though I wrote the role for him, thinking he was too big, he still wound up in the movie. It's really neat writing, like Darren's first role, and the same applies to Brink. It was written for somebody else. We had a returning character from the very first Caesar Nada film that was not available, who was a biker chick, and I called Felissa and I said, who do you recommend for this part? Who could be tough and Otto's girlfriend? And Brink was the very first person that Felissa mentioned. And I remember seeing Brink doing this great work. Even the production values could be super low, but Brink was always like the shining star of these movies. I enjoy Zombiegeddon for what it is, and I look at Brink in that, and I'm like, she's really good. And that was like when I saw you in a leading role, and I said I would love to have her. And that's an example of just an actor coming on board, being recommended, that really just clicks so well. And with Darren Miller in the previous film, the part was written as a jock. And when I heard he was on board, I'm like, well, maybe I'll make him a metal guy, like a death metal guy. And sometimes you'll just adjusting the part just a little bit to accommodate an actor winds up leading you to a better place, like Trey Byers in Summer Camp Massacre, who's gone on to star on Empire. Is famous now. I can never afford again. So those are examples.
Awesome. Do either of you, does anyone else have anything to add to that? If you're looking for people for a role, do you ever have someone in mind? Especially Paul, I know you just worked on a new movie.
Well, we work
I have
together.
like
on
a
that.
known actor in mind, but so other than that,
I have a story. When I had Personal Demons, I had written the script, and there were two male characters in it. There was my theatrical agent and my therapist were both written for men. And there was a convention in Los Angeles, Monster Palooza. Debbie Rochon and Linnea Quigley were both guests at the convention. And it was the same week we were ready to shoot. So my producer, Joe Castro, was like, why don't we hire them? So we changed the roles away from being men to being women just so we could get these two actors in it. And I'm really glad because it was my first day of shooting. I worked with both of them. It was the first time I'd ever directed anything, and it made it so much better to work with my friends.
Yeah, there's that shorthand. There's a shorthand when you have that experience, and now like you and I have that shorthand, and all of us here have that shorthand where it's not like you're starting from the ground level up. You know exactly the kind of movie we're making now, and it's you just save time and it's fun. It's great to work with friends. Hey, Avi, I hear you cast a very interesting leading man for your movie Gardener's Redemption.
Gander's Redemption, yeah. Well, that's right, yeah. So, first of all, you might have seen here the receptionist, which what a great, like, he has this a little role, but it turned out so funny. It's my favorite part of the movie, even despite him being my uncle. Bob Beckler plays the receptionist. He's the older guy wearing the funny dashiki shirt and the great crazy laughter and crazy hair. So in fact, he wrote for a film class that he was doing a short scene, a vignette about an old man that's dying, and he wants to make amends with his sons. So it's not so much that I cast him; it's that I said, "Hey, let's turn this into a not feature length, but a longer, fleshed out story." And film that. And again, Dave touched on that shorthand, meaning, yeah, you've worked with this person before, and you know that person's acting style. That person knows your directing style. You understand how the day is going to play out. So you just kind of have this dance of understanding where things are going to go for the day, and it really makes things a lot smoother in a film. So much time is spent trying to understand the other person's style that it's nice to already know that. And again, that's why it was such a pleasure working on this film, I think, for all of us, right? That not just a reunion of friends, but a reunion of, I know this workplace. I'm going back to work at my old job.
Right? Like when, let's say this is a real conversation that happened. Like when Avi at one point said, David, just be honest, am I ever going to get paid for this? I said, probably not. We're not making any money. And you're like, okay. And you're like, you just understood because we're doing this. I don't make any money on this. Most of us don't make anything. So, and the hope is we make something great and people will, or at least fun, and people will see it and enjoy it. And we can't live without this. And if it was somebody else, you'd be like, I'm not doing this film. You'd be a snob. And you know what we're about, and that I'm not trying to rip anybody off. I'm trying to make a movie for $5,000,
Exactly.
$6,000. Yeah.
Look, my rule of thumb is if I'm going to be involved in a movie and not get paid, no one else is making money either. If anyone else is making money, then I want to make money.
I'm just hoping
you're all losing money. I'm on board.
I'm just hoping to make money back. I try to give people money for gas and food and all that kind of stuff, but my hope is eventually just to make back the money I put into it.
For the record, if I'm counting right, I think I got a total of 1.5 Subway sandwiches out of Dave over the course of all 3 movies and maybe a dozen shoot days. So,
I I think on Brink's first day, there was like no coffee or anything like that. It was just like, is there coffee? Well, we'll be done soon, Brink. We'll be done. We'll get you coffee after. I'll give you a couple of bucks.
You're a
But
champ.
I am proud to say that all of Brink's roles, regardless of how big or how small they are, every cat appearance that she had took 3 hours. I'd say if you show up at 1, we'll have you done at 4, or whatever the call time was. She'd be wrapped within 3 times. And for 3 movies, that's exactly what we did. You know, and that's and we really appreciate it dearly. And I hope that. You know, and I hope it's been a fun and experience. Actually, you're here right now, so I'm assuming it's a positive experience.
I'm here, yes. It was wonderful. It really was. And I'm so happy that there's still some life for this movie and people are watching it for the holidays.
Yeah.
They're just so fun to watch. It's so entertaining. I really liked all 3 of them a lot.
Hey, thanks so much. I saw something on the screen right there. Was there people asking questions?
Yeah, Jim actually it's a 2-part question. First one, which things were based on real life events in the movie? You had mentioned that, and then he said, were those figures about cost and profit described in the movie real numbers?
The numbers were a little bit random. I mean, because it's hard to get like accurate figure. All I know is that I've only made back maybe half the money I put into all the movies I've done, if that. And with the biographical stuff, I had a grandfather who was in a nursing home who told me that Santa Claus would cut my dick off with a chainsaw. No, that didn't happen. It was some stuff with Paul. You know, Paul had made a short film called Allison Hop, which was about him in high school. And I took some of the elements from Paul's own life and I just threw it in the movie. He liked a girl named Allison, and that's pretty much where the similar. And he wrote her a poem. And that's about it. Paul liked a girl named Allison in high school. He thought about her for a long time because it felt unresolved. Something more like something about Mary. He wrote her a poem once, and that's it. I mean, that's pretty much all I really borrowed from that. And yeah, and I'm sure there's little elements here and there that I borrow from real life. You know, like Otto, I'm yelling at Otto, ratting him out to dad for at one point being 15 years old, and taking the car for a joyride. That's something my brother did. My brother, when my parents weren't home, took the car out for a joyride. So I attributed that to Otto. There's yeah, and a couple little things that happen that Paul say are true. I'm not gonna out him for you'll have to just use your own imagination in terms of things that Otto said that may or may not be real.
Okay. This next question we have is really for anyone who writes or directs. How do you come up with the special effects for your scenes?
Well, can we start with Brink? Because you had special effects in your scenes.
Yeah, just that one movie that was all green screen and we had all CGI. Just basically looking for images that fit. Like we needed a really old creepy gas station and a creepy old Victorian house and things like that. So, you know, just basically if you know in your head what it is you want, and then just look for that kind of stuff.
We had on Xmas someone named Rich Calderon. Is Samantha going to join the chat? I'm seeing her name on there, but
she's here.
She's here in spirit.
She's in here.
She's in the chat. I see 6 faces. She's not one of them.
You might have to scroll. You might be able to swipe over.
I see her.
Grid.
Oh my God, I'm seeing you for the first time, Samantha. Like we completely ignored you.
She looks so Christmassy.
The tree behind
I feel
her.
so bad.
That's her tree.
You're all
The
sparkling.
entire time, I did not realize you were there.
No, I just came on about 10 minutes ago or so.
Now I can't see Summer. There's Summer.
It's one or the other.
I know.
It's going to the.
This is the reason I brought Opal back, and you missed her, Sam.
Aw, I love Opal.
Okay, here we go.
So Rich Calderon is a special effects wizard who primarily focuses on low budget films. So when I put out an ad when we were making Xmas, when we were making Summer Camp, he came on board. He was wonderful. He came back for Christmas, and then by the time we did Paranormal, I worked him to death, and he took it out on me. Because like each time out, he would say, "You can give me more. I can handle more. I can handle more." And I pushed him to his limit with the last movie, and then that wasn't as fun. I'm like, "Hey, you said you can handle more." But when he's been the cornerstone of a lot of the effects of these movies, and so that's how we let him.
He makes locations right in his garage.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Professional. He made a confessional in my apartment. He made a confessional.
Yeah,
that's
right. With and Summer, you helped build that confessional. You were pretty much.
did.
in the presidential candidate one, he turned that hotel room to someone's bedroom, and I was like, I feel like maybe I'm being tricked into something here. But no, he turned it into something. He's amazing. Like in a blink of an eye, you're transported somewhere else.
Right. It's amazing to have somebody that team. Like, you want a film crew to have such different strengths in all the different departments, and we were blessed and fortunate to be able to have that. Sam, what happened with Ken McFarlane, who has never been able to attend these screenings? What happened? He said he's been so hard to get in touch with, huh?
Ken is grounded from Facebook. So he didn't know what was going on.
Ken plays.
Yeah.
Ken plays Jerry in the movies, and Ken is wonderful. But unfortunately, has not been able to join us here. So, is there any other?
Can I take a moment? Can I do something for a second?
Of course.
So we've got a lot of people here from Terror Cards. So thanks everybody that attended. You were great to be there for the movie and everything. I wanted to just show a real quick demo. There's a lot of people here who don't know what Terror Cards is. Basically, it's an online trading app. So I saved today's card to kind of get as a demo. Let me see if this will look right on here. Have a little ring light there.
Avi, do you want me to pull up the Terror Card site and screen share it?
Oh, sure. Well, I was going to show an actual demo of what's happening here. Look, there's a message from Philip. So basically, let's see. Can you guys see most of the screen here?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what happens is every day you get coins, and every day you have an opportunity to open packs that have your common cards in it, and then they have special cards. And last month and this month, there's a lot of Caesar and Otto stuff. You have cards that are of scenes of the movie, cards that are characters of the movie, and cards that are signatures of actors in the movie. So I'm going to go to today's store. Like on here, I don't know if you can see it very well. Deadly Xmas character packs, scene packs. So basically, I can buy a scene card. Or I can buy today's scene thing. So let's see. What is today's scene? Oh, well, whoops! It's Sashi.
Yay!
So this is today's scene card.
I'm ashamed to say I don't have any terror cards of Xmas. I have to remedy that. I have no cards in my own movie.
And it comes with other cards from other movies too. Look, for the Christmas Spirit, Mrs. Claus. Is that from Killer Santa? I don't know. Or is that from the movie Mrs. Claus?
There's a movie called Mrs. Claus that I'm in. It was shot 2 years ago.
Didn't Derek Huey shoot that in Texas? Is that Derek Huey did DP on that? In
Yes,
Texas
Troy.
Yeah, that's funny. I know we know all the same people.
We all do. It's a small world here.
Yeah.
I can go into my collection and I'll just show you really quickly the screen of the various character cards that are there so far. Everyone from the movie that we saw today. Most recently, his character card was Sashi, but there's a lot of them. And people that are here today are getting some bonus cards for participating and getting tickets and everything. But if you're here today and you're not in the tarot cards thing already, you'll get those cards and you just have to go and sign on. There's no charge. In fact, you get extra bonus cards for Caesar and Otto and coins. So tarotcards.com. I think she's going to just pop it on the screen real quick, and then
let me.
Thank you.
Screen share here. Share Safari.
I'm on right now, Avi.
This is their home website, but you can go to the links to download the app right from there, Google Play, the App Store, and yeah, there's a code for Caesar and Otto right now. The set's coming close to an end. It might be hard to get the full set, but there's people willing to trade cards with you, perhaps. There's a lot of trading that happens. It's a fun community. It's really fun. It's been eye-opening checking it out. So thanks to you guys, and then thanks Previn of Tarot Cards.
Yeah, to my understanding,
there's
a lot of people from Tarot Cards, and I appreciate all of you being out here. And if you want to continue the conversation, like online, I'm sure, like myself and Paul and whomever are receptive on Facebook to any questions you might have about the, series or whatever you might be thinking about at the time. We're happy to talk to you.
Yeah, and thank you, Tarot Cards, very much for coming, especially for all your help with this event. We really do appreciate it. I did, for everyone attending, I did put the website into the WebEx chat, and then check our social media tomorrow. We'll do a follow-up post and tag Tarot Cards in that as well. They're also on a lot of our social media from the past week or two, in addition. So go give them a like, give them a follow, and then their website's on there. On the WebEx chat.
Cool.
And then I do have, actually, okay, Avi, I have a question, follow-up question. What is your favorite tarot card in the deck so far?
Wait, what's the question?
What's your favorite tarot card in the deck so far?
Well,
the Caesar card. The Caesar card's his favorite card.
The Caesar card's I like to go with one of the cards, I think, and I'll show it to you here. Where are we here? I mean, I have to pick myself, don't I?
Oh yes,
but no. In fact, it's my favorite card is Drunk Otto.
I like it.
A great card. That is a great card.
Yeah.
It's your backdrop, isn't it, Paul?
Yes, thank you, Tarot Cards.
There's also a good Otto's Dream Girl there of Summer with shaving cream.
She even looks good with shaving cream on her face.
Avi, how do I friend you?
And that there. On Tarot Cards?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm as may be obvious, Drew from CNO. So I guess if you go on the far left thing, there's a little icon of a person. So you click on that. You can click on friends, and then there's a search. And if you search users, you can see Drew from CNO, and it should pop up.
It's fitting, Avi, that you're on the far left.
I found you.
That's true. We'll keep politics out of it for the day.
I'm sitting right next to him, so.
Yes, there we go in the lineup of our icons on screen. Yes.
Oh. You made it back into the starting lineup. I only see 4 of you at a time. I have to scroll.
I know. Yeah, I keep having to scroll now to see Summer.
Everyone joins Tarot Cards. It's fun. It's addictive.
Summer and Brink. There they are.
Now I only see Summer. I had to scroll over. Now I only see you.
Samantha, what is your handle? What is your handle on Tarot Cards? So I know to see you.
Yes, for everyone on Tarot Cards, it's T Samantha B.
T I'm going to put it in the chat.
Now, everyone friend me. I want to have more friends than Avi by the end of this, please.
Well, that will just be impossible.
I
Hey,
know.
Jim, the answer to your question is you and you alone. He'll know what that means.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh my.
Now I have to scroll up to see what the question was.
I missed it.
good question.
I don't know if it's appearing on the screen. I just see it pop up on the screen.
Oh, I wonder if he sent it just to you.
I might have.
Oh.
But Jim is a brilliant web designer and political cartoonist. His work is wound up in these movies. As a matter of fact, he did the NNN logo on the in the news scenes. He created Charles Darwin's an Xmas Xmas story, Carol, on the DVD case. So my childhood friend, who I go way back with, and he's always my point guy when it comes to graphic design. Huberspace.net or com.net.
I think it's .net. Hyperspace.net.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, he's the other Summer. He's the fellow Virginia Knight. Or however you say, he's the other one from Virginia.
Oh, yay! I'm also, Kat and I both are also from Virginia.
No
Oh, that's-
way. I'm from Martinsville, so
Oh, okay. I'm from Berryville. I don't know if you know where that is. It's no one knows where it is. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of near DC. That's where we're from.
I'm from the southwest part where nobody's ever been.
Kat is from Fairfax, so that's kind of bigger. I don't know if you know where that is.
I do.
Okay, yeah, that one's bigger.
That one I know of.
Oh, Jim says he knows where Berryville is. That's good. That makes two. I do have a question from one of the students, the Georgia Film Academy. Will Otto ever find love?
Oh.
I don't know. I just don't. I just keep picking very poorly. Dave, are you gonna write me a good love scene one of these days, or what?
Yeah, Dave, keep him
Can
hanging.
you find somebody in the next script?
Well, you almost kissed Allison in this movie. Isn't that enough? We had physical contact. She hugged you. She put shaving cream on your face. That's not enough.
Allison was a fool.
Can Otto get married?
No, I wrote that.
Jerry can officiate.
I wrote that Allison and Otto wanted together, and that Allison kicks him out of her car, like they want to put him in the car. So I would say to that student, the question isn't so much for the actor as it is for the writer. And so, because I'm the one that really calls the shots in terms of will Otto ever find love? I don't know, but I mean, the truth is, look, do you ever see Dumb and Dumber? The original ending of Dumb and Dumber was the guys were going to get on the bus with the girls. And Jim Carrey said, once you give them the happy ending, you take away the funny. You take away, the pathos, and for this kind of movie, Otto probably never will. But if I can find a way for Otto to find love and for it to still be funny, then that's the answer.
I think if Jerry is the officiator, that's enough funny that you'll need.
Okay, so how about
Same.
Otto falls in love with Samantha Barrios, and you just play yourself.
Is Samantha Barrios Roberta's twin?
Split screen, yes. You play
Love
yourself
it.
and your character.
Let's do it.
What the actually makes sense that she would play Otto to try to get something from him,
There you go.
and then try to kill him at the end.
You guys we're writing the next movie right now. I'm in. And this is the zombie one, right? Right, Dave?
I'm sorry?
This is the zombie one. The next movie is the zombie one.
Yeah. We'll make it work.
Yeah. I'm in. We got a wedding. We've got zombies. This is great.
They want to know what's next for Caesar and Otto.
Caesar and Otto, Spring Break with the Dead, followed in I don't know, maybe in 3 years from now, and then followed by Caesar and Otto go to hell. That'll be about 6 or 7 years from now. I don't know, something like that.
Whole lineup. I'm excited.
Some of us might be dead by then anyway. It's a long time.
From an on
Caesar and Otto go
6
to
years
the
away. 6 years. I'm not. What are you? Are you having terminal illness on me? What are you saying?
I don't know. I just came out morbid. I was just meaning that's a heck of a long time from now. 7 or 8 years.
6, 7 years. I mean, like if you keep getting your limbs chopped off, maybe you'll die. But
No, in the evil nursing home.
it's a prematurely aging yourself.
Says Caesar and Otto's zombie Easter.
Kitty's back. What's the cat's name, Summer?
This is Sammy.
Sammy?
Thank you. Summer
I
is
love all the pets. I do. This next one. So this is obviously a very funny franchise. Are there any blooper reels?
Is there, sorry?
We need blooper reels.
Yeah, no, they're online. We have blooper reels. I think that all of them have blooper reels.
And we have the short films online too. These short films. Meet Drag.
Short films and all of the blooper reels are online.
Mm-hmm. You need to find Caesar and Otto's YouTube channel. There's a lot of good stuff on there.
Yeah, I mean, type in Deadly Xmas bloopers, Paranormal Halloween bloopers, and they're on YouTube.
Awesome.
Except no imitations.
Except for what?
No imitations.
Who's gonna make
Caesar and Otto. Just Caesar and Otto.
Wait.
Won't do.
Otto.
Yeah, if you go and look for Sieber and Blotto, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
I never took an improv class.
But I hate to break your heart, Paul, but we're an imitation of Abbott and Costello and Dumb and Dumber, so.
Nonsense.
Whoa.
How long in total did it take you guys to make each of the Caesar and Otto films?
I guess I'd be most qualified to answer that. Well, Brink, it was 3 hours.
How was she just waiting?
But to make Summer Camp Massacre, we shot it in like 2 weeks, and then I edited on and off over the course of a year and a half. The next one, we shot like in spurts. We did like a few days here, a few days there. So probably shot it over a course on and off for about a year, and then another year to edit. So that was probably like 2 years. Well, with the last one, Paranormal Halloween, we had a release date, right? So we shot it in 2 weeks, and I edited it for 6 months. Took me that was the fastest I ever worked. So that gives you kind of an idea of how editing tends to take the longest of everything.
Editing?
Yeah, 6 months to a year to edit a lot of these things.
So next question, what is the biggest piece of advice you guys, this is for each of you, would give to people starting out with the goal of creating their own film? So Dave, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, do your best to be organized when you're going into it. Have a pretty good idea of what you're looking for. Have a shot list. Be prepared. Have your actor and have your backup actor on standby. Summer, do you know that Summer was actually? I had someone cast in a leading role in summer camp, and she started being difficult. And I had liked Summer's audition so much for another role. I said, Summer, we were bumping you up.
I forgot who that was. Who was that?
I'll tell you later.
I'm sitting right here, Dave. I'm right here.
So be prepared to have backs for individual actors. Have backups for everything. Be organized. Have your shot list, and then you can have some fun on the set. But because if you go to the set and you're like, oh, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. Then you're going to lose so much time, and it's going to be all compromised. Scout your locations, plan everything ahead of time the best you can, and you'll get your best work out of it. That's my advice.
Paul, what's your advice?
Damn it. No money, no problem. Do what you can. Get people together. If there's good actors everywhere now.
Found some in Nebraska.
Yeah, we found some in Nebraska somehow. And just, I don't know. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment.
That's good. I like that. Samantha, what about you?
Yeah, I have to echo what they both said. I think Dave's point about being organized and having a plan, like something is going to go wrong. You're never going to do what your plan is, but you have to have the plan first so that you have a base starting point and you have options to go from there. And I think that really helps with being respectful of your crew and your actors' time and their energy. Even if you're paying them a lot of money, it's still nice to be respectful of their worth and value, but especially if they're doing it for peanuts. And I think too, sometimes when we're creating and we get in those pre-production stages, we get so in our way of trying to make everything perfect. And I think at some point in time, you have to let it go and you have to just do the work and trust your actors and trust your crew that they are going to have great insight and great creativity. And you don't have to do it by yourself. You've got a team of people to work with you that are going to feed this great project. And then you'll just keep growing. And the next time you'll have learned all these lessons and you'll be stronger the next time and so on and so on. So that's what I'd say.
Great work.
What about you? Thank you. Well said. Summer, what about you?
I would say just be great to work with, because I think that like part of the magic of the Cesar Arana movies is like once you work in one of these movies, you just don't want to stop. Like the next time they call, you're like, absolutely, I'm in. I called a friend of mine. I was working with Dave and Paul, and they're so amazing. And I called her like, you gotta come be part of this. And then the next film, he was in it as well. Like he was a policeman.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, just be great to work with, and people will want to work with you. And then, you've built something.
And not to mention, you cast Brink's jail cellmate in summer camp as well. So yeah, like and actually, I think Brink and Avi, we left out of that question.
Yeah, I was trying to go down the list. So, Frank, what about you?
I think having a good script is really important, and it's one of the easiest things to perfect before you start shooting. Like I've seen scripts that are 67 pages long, and you just know it's not going to be enough running time. And other scripts that have such dialogue or they're too complicated, you just know they're going to run into problems. So I think having a really good script before you start filming is a crucial element.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, because you can rewrite, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can. That's where all the time should go, because once you start shooting with the script, it's costing you money.
Yeah.
You can perfect that script before you start shooting anything.
Avi, what about you? Last but certainly not least.
No, but it's like, wow, it's harder when what everybody else said is great. It's right, yeah. I guess I would add trust your instincts, and that works with all that. The more you go, then the more experience you have, and maybe your instincts wiser. But I think if you are inauthentic and you're not following your instincts, and you kind of let too many other people, pepper the soup, then you're going to end up with something that's not yours, and that's not great. So you want to follow your heart mostly, and then even if it's not good in the end, you're going to like it, and it's going to be fun to do.
I like that. We have time for just 2 or 3 more questions. One I have here, the people watching, the groups watching, they were shouting out characters that you played, all of you played in other movies. They're recognizing you from things. So for all of you, what of all the movies you've done, shows, etc., any work that you've done, what is your favorite character that you've played?
I can answer that. I did a movie called Haunting Fear 30 years ago, and Victoria, whose husband is trying to drive her insane, and it's working. So on any given day I was shooting, I had to ask myself, how insane am I today? Until I'm just full, blown out with a butcher knife chasing people. And it's coming out, finally. It's getting released on Blu-ray DVD next year. Yay. And I'm so excited because it was only ever on VHS. And I'm really excited. I work with Jan Michael Vincent and Karen Black in it. Shows are really fun.
Yay!
I know.
That.
It's a great answer. It's great.
Movie again?
A Haunting Fear.
I'm
A
gonna
Haunting Fear.
Yeah, writing it down.
Yeah, we'd love to see
put
that.
it in the chat too.
Good.
Let's see, Avi. What about you? What's your favorite
I
character?
gotta go with Drew. I mean, this is the third. This is 2 of the 3 movies, and I get to get a limb cut off in every one of them. I get like the most fun special effects scene. I get blood spurted all over me. Who doesn't want that? You know? And I guess I'll just mention, since you asked about other movies, I did a movie a while ago called Audi, where I also got to have my arms and my head cut off in that one by a chainsaw.
He's been
chainsaw. So I'm typecast. Yes, I'm typecast as the guy who's his arms taken off.
Summer, what about you?
I would have to say Allison. I mean, because she's like me, but with the sleeping disorder. Like, she doesn't wear makeup. She's a schlub. Like, that's me. That's me.
I never saw you that way, Summer. That's funny that you say that.
What about you?
I'm liking the character in Fortress of Sin right now because he's kind of a tribute. His name is Harry because he's named after my brother Harry, who died of brain cancer like 2 years ago. And I'm liking kind of that little tribute kind of thing, and I'm trying to put in some of his mannerisms into some of the scenes. But I also love Caesar and Otto because working with just everybody, Sam and Summer, and just everybody's so cool, and Ken is so much fun. And like it's kind of effortless to act with Dave because he kind of writes the scripts with me in mind. So he knows what lines, and it's just we have such good chemistry. I like acting with good chemistry. I have really good chemistry with Dave, so.
Thanks, Paulie. But the thing is, it wasn't immediate. We did some, see in the beginning, like we had to find the way, and that was chemistry can be found because the more and more comfortable you get, just the more the chemistry just evolves, and so it wasn't snap our fingers when it happened, but it did happen over time, and it's so fun to bounce off of you and to play these characters. Whose turn is it?
Samantha, I believe.
Who's it?
Samantha.
Oh, Sam, you've done a lot on stage, right?
Yeah, I've done a lot of theater. This is a hard question for me because it is literally like asking me to choose between my favorite children. I don't actually have children. These are my children, my roles. Or like my favorite Beatles song. Like I don't have an answer. It's like whatever I did most recently. But I will say this. On stage, most recently, I played the leading player in Pippin, and in a new musical that's coming out about the serial killer H.H. Holmes, I played Minnie Williams, and so far Minnie I miss her a lot. I still miss her. And then as far as film goes, and I would also like to play Minnie on film, so let's just cross our fingers that audition goes well. Anyway, then I would like to play, as far as film, it sounds so cliche because I'm on this panel right now for Caesar and Otto, and we've all said this, but I really love Roberta. I love that she's British, first start. I love that she is so business, tell it like it is. The comedy I get to do in this film is my favorite. Unless we can, if we could throw in some pratfalls or I run into a wall or something, I will have all of the comedy I like to do. So it's just my favorite. And then that she's just so evil.
You and Ken McFarlane are so perfect together.
And that might be part of the problem. That might be why I'm saying this, because I love working with Ken McFarlane so much. I would quit another gig to work with Ken. That's how much I love working with him. And
so
you
if you were given a choice between a Spielberg film where you're the lead or a little cameo in a Ken McFarlane Caesar and Otto.
Oh, Dave, come on now.
I don't know.
Make a choice like that.
Yeah, Dave,
I
come
feel
on.
like you could at least film me like on a weekend. Can I get the Bring Steven special and get a 3-hour on set?
There you go.
The Bring Steven special.
When you proceed, see, the thing is, Brink, when she comes to set, knows all her lines, and there's not really, so it goes fast because she's really, you're so expert, at your craft. Although I think once I threw you off, that I was like, we were gonna have you when the scene, you're gonna have your head cut off. I was just like, just stand against the blue wall. Well, I'll superimpose you, and so that got a little confusing because like without the actual anything to react to, that was like it took just a little bit of just context to get you. That was the only time I feel like I stumped you slightly. And then, but in the next one we did special effects too, and it still went like that. So you're just a consummate professional.
Thank you. I remember that scene where I'm up against the wall and you taped the cell phone next to me, taped it against the wall. That was so funny.
I removed the blue wall, and then I just put in like the operating table behind it. Rather than build an operating table, I just had you do that. So
we have one last question. This is from Dijon. I'm butchering that name. I know I am. Dijon. He says, "What do your kids and family, or your kids or your family, think about the movies that you make?" So this is for everyone. Let's start with Dave.
Well, I have family. I don't have kids, but I don't know. I think my sister doesn't get it. I'm not sure if my mother gets it. I'm not sure my brother gets it. That's all there is.
Well, we get it.
Yeah, people get. I think they get moments. They'll get like, say, my sister will love the high school flashback. So they don't really quite get what I'm spoofing. With this, they don't necessarily get the comedy. But then, it's people outside family that get it a lot more. So
Your chosen family.
yes.
Yes.
I want to say my parents, my mom, and my dad especially, they cannot look at the scene where I get chopped up and I'm suffering. They just it's not me. It's a character that's fake. You can watch it. It's supposed to be funny even. It's not, it's graphic, but it's not like dramatically stressful. It's funny, but they can't look at it. So in fact, tonight I gave my mom a pass to watch it, and I was like, "Were you able to log on?" She logged on during the movie and was like, "Yeah, sorry, this isn't my kind of movie." Logged on.
Thanks, Mom. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk. My day is crazy now. So, Brink, what about you?
Well, my parents, nobody in my family likes horror, and my parents don't want to see me die, and they don't want to see me naked in movies. So they really just take my word for it. I did this fun movie, and you'll never watch it.
Probably get a little closer with these movies because they're not quite as hardcore.
Yeah.
Just tell them, hey, I was in an Abbott and Costello movie.
Yeah.
Paul, what about you?
Since we're bringing up parents, my parents just really don't get the whole Caesar and Otto vibe. But
they love. No, that's not entirely true because your mom loves.
Like seeing me. They like seeing me.
They love the fight behind the bed. The fight in this movie. Your mom loved that. And
I have to say that little short film I made, Quarantine Day 100. People know their reaction to it. What the fuck's wrong with you, Paul? It's me pretty much imitating Wild Bill from
Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, Buffalo Bill from
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs, and it's really like crazy me doing that stuff, and then people like, "Oh, Paul, I can't watch that."
Summer, what about you?
My parents watched it and they were like, "You're so good." That's like they don't, I mean, they're not. That's the best movie they've ever seen. I think they were just glad I didn't take my shirt off.
That almost happened.
It almost did.
So we spared them.
What about you, Samantha?
So I am also a teacher. So I call my kiddos, the kids I teach, my kiddos. They love it, and my cool points shot up for sure when I started doing these films. So thanks, Dave. And and then a funny little trivia is that my mom did the translation into Spanish for, it was this one. It was Xmas, right? It wasn't Paranormal.
Summer camp.
So the summer camp.
Yeah, the one you weren't in. She did.
The one I wasn't in. She likes them
But
all.
we knew each other. We knew each other then, and I needed someone to do Spanish, and Mom was like, "I'm on it."
Yeah. And she likes them. She finds them. She finds it really fun and interesting. And
The next one.
was that?
We put her in the next one.
She was
I
in
know.
the last one, Paul.
She was in Paranormal Halloween because she and my roommate came to drop off a costume. We had a costume malfunction and they had to drop off a costume, and Dave was like, "While you're here," they got put in the movie. Yeah. So and then I have like a best friend who's a horror fan, a huge fan, and also cool points went up there too because he was like, "Wait, you worked with Bring Stevens? Wait, you worked with Felissa Rose? Wait, you were?" I mean, it was just like all this stuff. So it was really great, and he loves the movie. So thanks. So I'm pretty cool. Just in case y'all didn't know that. Y'all made me real cool.
Well, that was our last question. So I want to remind everyone still in the chat, still with us, that you should go and check out tarotcards.com. Remember to send an email to support@tarotcards.com to show proof that you were here tonight, so you get a special signature card and 250,000 coins. The owner, that is Previn Wong. He's great. We love him. And I put the site information in the chat, so you'll have that as well. Second, I want to thank all of you guys, Samantha, Summer, Brink, Paul, Avi, Dave. We really appreciate having you here with us. Without you guys, this event would not happen. And again, I apologize for the delay on the start with our technical difficulties. Thank you for hanging in with us. But we really appreciate all of you guys being here so much. It was so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carissa.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then for our next Fantastic Saturday, we're working on a bigger event. It's just in the planning stages now. We're going to highlight women in horror. So very excited. So we'll give you guys all more details on that in the coming months. Keep your eyes peeled on our social media, and then I'll reach out to all of you guys, of course.
What was the name of your favorite movie again that you were in, Brink? Haunting
Fear.
Oh, well, that sounds like it'd be a wonderful film to screen.
We're here for it. We're ready for it.
Can I mention really quickly too? I put up on this chat screen there my Reverb Nation page for the AKG development, my music. I had a song at the end of this film and another Caesar Otto film. I'll put those at the top of the playlist if anyone wants to, and make them free for download if anyone wants to download and check them out. Kill Them All from Deadly Xmas, a spoof of the movie and Jingle Bells.
Awesome. And that's in the chat?
That's just slightly up there in the chat. ReverbNation.com, AKG/AKG development.
Awesome.
So it's not in that order yet, but I'll do that in the next few minutes, and it'll be in the right order, and you'll see the Caesar Nada songs first.
Awesome. And then our last order of business, we are doing a drawing. We have 2 prizes to give away. One is a saw painting, and it comes with one of our FanQuest Nation. It's a picnic blanket. Roll it up. It's got a little handle. I will email you pictures of it. Typically, I would be able to present them, but I'm not in Georgia with everyone else. And then our second prize is a canvas bag with Daryl from The Walking Dead. It's got a Santa hat on it. It's hand painted, and that'll come with our blanket as well.
What about a paranormal Halloween sticker that I sent you guys?
We do have the paranormal Halloween stickers, and then our Slash-tastic Saturday stickers. Those will come with our event prizes as well. And we have the deadly. Do we have the deadly Christmas stickers?
Yeah, you got both.
We do. So we'll put those in there.
It's Xmas.
Deadly Xmas. Deadly Xmas.
Xmas.
X. So our first winner. Let's see.
I was with you, Samantha. I was with you.
You're with me. You're with me.
Our first winner is Philip Roten. I'm probably butchering that. I hope I said his name right. Second winner. Dijon Aguilera.
Dijon!
Done. Was I saying that name correctly this whole time? I hope so.
Sounds like
I
it.
think they're both here from Tarot Cards. If
Hey.
right.
Oh, perfect.
There's one last thing I want to say, and it's to Brink, because I found that I don't think I ever told you this. I met Kevin Smith at an airport once. You know Kevin Smith, the
Yes.
famous filmmaker?
Yeah.
And I was talking about my movie. I had summer camp on me, and I said, "Hey, look, this is just something I worked on." And he saw your name, and he said, "Brinky Stevens, I know her." So he knows you, but he has your name wrong.